How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? I just want to give a quick thank you for everyone who has stuck by thus far for Chapter 7. We're halfway through the show, and it's been an amazing ride to see and reminisce on the past of how I grew to love this industry and in this area. I really do, from the bottom of my heart, love this industry, the haunt community. I love it all. It's a lot of fun, and we just love meeting people and hanging out with people and shooting content for you guys to enjoy. With all that being said, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Now, Chapter 7, The Spark. Now, Chapter 7 is going to get a little into detail about the actual origins of Nights of Horror. Of course, we didn't go on to start the channel until 2017, which we will get to next episode, but this is the year that we discovered a channel that would really motivate us to really want to do something like this. There was a lot of influences over the years, but I would say these guys are like the main influence. But as far as other influence goes, you got like TPA. There was an old channel back in the day that was a duo, and it was called Haunt Squad. I really liked what they did. There was a lot of, channel, but the channel that really went above and beyond and really motivated me and George to really want to start this journey was a group that I am glad I call dear friends today. I really am. I never expected, looking back at it now and looking at it, today, I never expected me to grow a friendship that I did with these guys. And I'm very thankful for that. They've always had my back. They've always been there for me, and I could not be more thankful for that enough. Very good friends of mine. When I first found them, and this is going back to all the diehard fans who know who I'm talking about and know the original name before they changed to what the name is now, which is the same thing really. It's just a little bit more abbreviated and smaller to remember, quicker to remember, which is really smart on their part. The League of Extraordinary Vloggers, which are now known today as TLEV Media.
TLEV Media, bringing the magic of the theme parks to your home.
From vlogs to interviews, TLEV Media is entertainment for all.
League of Extraordinary Vloggers, that was a really good time for me and George. We were in the phase, like last episode and the episode before that, of just speculating and just really trying to figure out what was coming to the event. 2016 was easily, in my opinion, at least for me, the greatest year of Halloween Horror Nights I have ever experienced.
Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. You know I'm addicted to you, and it's twisted, you've been gifted with the evil.
I will die on the hill tomorrow going out with that, because that is one of the greatest years of Halloween Horror Nights that I've ever experienced. But the reason why we brought up TLEV was because George and I would constantly, we were always checking Twitter. We were always looking at like the community and then seeing what everyone was saying, and really trying to figure all that out as far as what was coming to the event, and just speculations and whatnot. Then we stumbled upon the League of Extraordinary Vloggers. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The first time I watched one of their videos, like my mom pulled it up because I had watched it. My cousin had told me about it. We watched like a video or something, and then my mom pulled it up. And I was like, I don't like these guys. I don't know what they're talking about, but whatever. That was just me being me. And then I started really watching their videos and really just kind of analyzing what they were trying to accomplish and what they did accomplish as a duo, and then eventually would go on to become a trio, to see where they all started and how much fans they were, much like me and George. It was like looking in a mirror, honestly, because like you had, big fans of the event, people who were as, diehard as fans as we are. They were in the same boat as starting the channel based around Halloween Horror Nights, much like us. Obviously they started first and then we came along, but they started doing Halloween Horror Nights content and eventually would go on to expand their horizons with not only just haunts, but theme parks, and entertainment news and whatnot, which it's been great to see those guys grow, to see where they've come now. But I remember that year, George and I started really watching them. We were subscribed, we had the bell notifications on, so we were getting the updates and the videos that would come out with this. And we'd watch them, we'd tune into the live streams. It was a lot of fun. And I remember just kind of, enjoying what I was seeing from them. I mean, they were a duo. They were talking about their thoughts and opinions, theories and whatnot, breaking down announcements and stuff. And that really started sparking something in me. I didn't know exactly what until after I went to Horror Nights, but going into 2017, I had the idea and I was ready to launch it. But because of TLEV, it was what really sparked us starting the Nights of Horror. Now, they've been doing it for some time. We are currently on our 5th year. And this is huge for us because I didn't think I was going to get past year 1. Honestly, I didn't think I was going to make it this far. I really thought that it was not going to take off and people were not going to be interested in what I had to say, what Sammy had to say, what others on the channel had to say. I didn't think a lot of people would be interested in us interviewing scare actors, which we'll talk about later on down the road as well. I didn't think a lot of people would just be interested in our content. And I was wrong. You guys have shown nothing but love and support throughout the years of this, and because of that, we've continued to grow and we've continued to up our quality, up our game, and try to make the best videos possible for you guys, breaking down stuff and whatnot. And that year in 2016, before we went to the event, really sparked something in me. Now, jumping into the event, that was something that was a lot of fun. 2016, like I've said, was hands down my all-time favorite year of Halloween Horror Nights thus far. There's been close seconds, but this, until a lineup like this comes again, this has been my all-time favorite year. I absolutely loved every single maze that was there. I loved the terror tram, the scare zones and whatnot. It was a lot of fun. Now, this was the year I had just graduated high school. Before the summer started, I had just graduated high school, so I was fresh out of high school. I had, ironically, and this is kind of funny too, I had gotten a job at Knott's Berry Farm as park services, and so technically, I mean, I got to experience what it was like behind the scenes one year at Knott's Scary Farm, as far as seeing a lot of the scare actors and stuff, whatnot. I mean, at that time, I think I was too nervous to talk with some with them. I think it didn't go into like later in the season that like I know I would be on break and I'd see a couple and like talk to them and tell them how like awesome this was and shit. So that was really cool for me because I got to experience Knott's Scary Farm as a park employee, to see behind the scenes and to see like how it was all put on and whatnot was really cool. And to kind of be in the middle of that, if you guys don't know the job of park services, they're basically kind of like the janitors of the park. So they basically go above and beyond to pick up trash and keep the park as clean as possible for all guests, so they can have a good environment while they're enjoying the park. And it wasn't my favorite job, but I did have a lot of fun moments doing the job, and to see what it was like during Scary Farm to work the haunt shifts and whatnot was really cool. Little did I know that would eventually become one of my favorite haunts of all time, and I would be interviewing a lot of people who are now my friends from that park, which was really awesome. So that was a lot of fun to kind of see behind the scenes of how Knott's Scary Farm was put on, and to kind of see more of behind the scenes than other people did, which was really cool, and I really enjoyed that a lot. Now, Halloween Horror Nights had been following a lot of announcements. They've been really going good. But we're going to break down every maze that was there and how we were feeling going into it. So Halloween Horror Nights 2016, me and my cousin were super excited for it. I had just graduated high school. We'd been working at Knott's the entire summer, and it was time to go to Halloween Horror Nights. We didn't miss our opening day like we always go to, and it was awesome. To not have to worry about getting up early or like going to school or anything was really cool. So that was a lot of fun. We had got in front of the line again that year, and we continued our tradition to go to Johnny Rockets. We got our food. Then this would ultimately be the last year that I go with my dad, because after that year, I got a license and had my own job and went solo. But it was a lot of fun to go through this with my dad one last time. This had a great lineup. And let's talk about this lineup. So me and my cousin were super stoked for this lineup. We were there for all the announcements. We were very stoked. We did all of our watchings of every film that was there. Everything was watchable that year, and we did our marathons and we watched it all, and it was a lot of fun. Let's start with American Horror Story. Now, American Horror Story is one of the most popular horror television shows on cable network today. And it is still going. They have a spin-off show called American Horror Stories, which is solo individual episodes that tell one story each one, basically like a Twilight Zone anthology kind of thing, which was really cool. So to see this show grow was really cool. By this point, they had just dropped, I believe, season 5, which was Hotel. So they did the maze based around 3 seasons, which was Murder House season 1, Freak Show season 4, and Hotel season 5. I personally liked every one of those seasons. I really liked Murder House. I mean, I think a lot of people really love Murder House. That was a lot of fun to see a lot of those iconic scenes come to life. And if anybody knows about the Murder House, I mean, it's really cool. It's actually located in Los Angeles, and I've been to it, and it's really cool seeing it in person. A lot creepier to see it in person than to see it on the show. And that was a lot of fun. To see the iconic scenes of Murder House and to see that play out was really cool. They split this maze into 3 seasons, obviously, so it was cool to see each season have their own shine. We then go into Freak Show, which was really cool to see the massive tent, the school bus, Twisty, and just to see a lot of the Freak Show of itself was really cool. And that season was very interesting to kind of elaborate on that was really cool. So to see that was really bitchin'. Twisty looked cool, scary. The carnies looked really, really cool, really detailed, really well done. So that was a lot of fun. And they try to incorporate the intro as much as possible as well, because if anyone knows American Horror Story is famous for their intros. And to see them incorporate that into this maze as far as like little scenes and whatnot was really cool. You then end with Hotel, which was a lot of fun. To go through that season was really cool. I know a lot of people aren't fans of that season, but that was the season that really actually got me into American Horror Story. The good thing about American Horror Story, up until I think lately, but the good thing about American Horror Story is you can kind of jump into any season you want and really watch it and not have to worry about last seasons. They do nods and hints, and then I think Apocalypse really tied in a couple seasons, but to see this was really good, and it kind of made me want to go back and watch the previous seasons just so I knew what I was going to go get into. But to see Hotel was really cool. You got to see like the iconic rooms and stuff. That hallway was really cool. It had a really nasty smell, just like how I imagine it would smell in the show. And to see the Ten Commandments killer room was really, really cool. And then the Easter egg they used for the intro scene was that as in that intro, you saw someone kind of ripping a bed open and crawling out. And they had that scene in the maze, which was really cool. And then they had the I think it was the Countess, who was played by Lady Gaga, at the end, kind of holding her baby and stuff, which was really, really cool. That was a great maze overall, and I really enjoyed that. We then go over to the maze that I think to this day, and it's the movie to this day that scares the shit out of me the most. And talking with John Murdy about that was hilarious to see that he still feels that way. But The Exorcist came to Halloween Horror Nights in 2016, and I really, really was terrified to go in this maze. Let's just put it this way. I grew up, and I still am, Catholic. So with me, when I went to this event and I heard about this being a maze, I was very skeptical about it. And I was like, I am not going in without a little Jesus protection. And I brought a rosary with me. Kept it in my pocket and held on to it the entire time when I went through the maze. But the maze was phenomenal. They did a really good job. Now, you got to imagine, and Murdy did mention this is probably one of the hardest mazes he had to ever create. This was a dream maze that he wanted to create, but this was one of the hardest he had to create. Because if anyone knows that movie, it takes place in one room the entire film. So how does one build a maze around one room the entire film? John Murdy figured it out. And the opening was amazing. It started with Reagan doing the spider walk down the stairs. That animatronic was really cool. That was dope. And then you went into a majority of the maze were black walls, but they utilized them pretty good in this maze. And I didn't care for that year, because for me, like I said, this was a hard maze to accomplish and to tackle, and Murdy brought it to life. And to see him bring it to life was really cool. To see as the movie progressed on, as the demon took over Reagan more and more, and we led all the way to the end, was really cool. To see those scenes kind of intensify as you went into each room was really cool. To see her floating in the air, to seeing her kind of mock the priests and whatnot, it was really cool to see that maze intensify as it went more and more. And then it all ended with, of course, the iconic beginning of the film, which when Father Merrin finds the Pazuzu statue, and we see that statue, and it actually came to life and scared the hell out of people. And then you see Pazuzu, and what he did really cool, which was something that was an Easter egg in the film, was he did a lot of the subliminal imagery throughout the maze, which was really fucking cool. So to see that was a great maze. Scared the shit out of me. Movie still scares the shit out of me to this day, but I had a lot of fun going through it. Freddy vs. Jason. Now, for those who don't know, yes, I do love Killer Clowns from Outer Space, one of my all-time favorite films. However, the film that really got me into horror, Killer Clowns from Outer Space did, but the film that really, I think, sparked that light for me for horror was Freddy vs. Jason. So when I saw this was coming to the event, I was very excited for it. I mean, you have two icons in horror history, slashers, who are going at it, and you're right in the middle of the battle. You are right smack in the middle of their fight. Who's going to come out the victor? Freddy, Jason. And that was the cool part about this maze. The ending changed every hour or every day or so. Some days you'd go through it and it would be Jason that was the winner. Some days you'd go through it and it'd be Freddy that was the winner. That was really cool to see that and to see them original endings. But you go through like the boiler room to see like Freddy's Nightmare. You go to the house on Elm Street, which was really fucking cool. Then you make your way to Camp Crystal Lake, which was really dope. And to see the kind of shrine of his mother was really, really cool. And then it ends in like one last final battle between the two, and you're caught right in the middle. And to see these icons go at it again, it was great. I just rewatched that movie actually a few days ago, and I still love it, no matter how cheesy it is and whatnot. I mean, the kills in that movie are just so great, and to see how they accomplished it and whatnot was really fucking cool. Halloween Hell Comes to Haddonfield, the sequel, Halloween 2, one of my favorite sequels of all time, and to see a part 2 to Halloween 1 at Halloween Horror Nights was really fucking cool. To see him terrorize the hospital and try to hunt down Laurie Strode was really cool. It started the way the last one ended. Now it started with, you going into the house, Michael getting shot. Obviously the controversy of how many bullets Loomis shot, which has been a cinema controversy for a very long time. I think he says like in the first film, you count the shots, it's one number, and in the second film, he says another number. So that's been very controversial. And I remember John Murdy put on Twitter, he purposely put that in because that's an iconic argument and whatnot, and kind of blooper, if you will, about that, which was really cool. And then to go through the hospital to see Michael go on a freaking killing spree at the hospital was really cool. They nailed a lot of the iconic scenes, from Michael lifting up the girl, the nurse, with the little scalp knife, lifting her up. That was really cool. To see Michael drown the girl in the boiling hot water was really cool. And then to see the final confrontation between Michael, Laurie, and Dr. Loomis in the room where they blind him was really cool. And then this one had another original ending where it was like a pumpkin, but it was the iconic logo of Halloween. And what was cool about it is the way I depicted it was something that you were going inside Michael's head. And I thought that was really fucking cool. So to see that original ending was really dope. I really enjoyed this one. And I believe the Easter egg they had in the front, which I thought was really cool of the facade, was on the grass, they actually had Michael's outline of his body, which was really cool. So that was a lot of fun. To see the sequel to Halloween 1, this was really awesome. And this was in the Jurassic Park queue. So I really, really did enjoy that one. Krampus, man. Krampus was such a fun maze. Krampus was the maze that had the Twitter password that year. So if you went up to the mailman and said the password, he would give you something. However, I think at the time when we went through the maze, there were so many people saying it, and by the time we said that, he just kind of ignored us, which I'm not salty or anything about, because they have to give out, something to everyone. If how do they know that we didn't hear it from the first people and we just decided to do it too? But it's all good. I mean, Krampus was still a phenomenal maze. The facade looked great. It was the house all snowstormed up. You had Krampus on the roof. You had the mail van outside. The mailman was frozen and he was handing out the Twitter password, which was really cool. I really enjoyed that. And then going through it scene for scene, as far as, starting when all the chaos started, pretty much, and seeing everyone slowly get taken away or dying in the film, which was really cool, leading up to that kind of false ending of how the movie ended in real life, which was you thought everything was good, and then you find out you're actually trapped in one of Krampus's snow globes and sent to his eternity of Christmas, kind of like a hell in a way, which was really cool. This was based on the 2016 film Krampus, and that film was just great. It's one of the things that we do on the Nights of Horror every single year. We do a live stream in December. That's how we kind of celebrate Christmas right there. So Krampus, I still think, is one of the greatest mazes they've ever done at Halloween Horror Nights. To see Krampus, to see the gingerbread man was really cool. To see all the toys come to life was really cool. The snowman scene, that was really dope. I mean, Krampus just really set the bar for like Christmas-themed mazes for me. That was really, really awesome. And I hope one day they, for like an anniversary or something, they bring it back, because I would love to see it again. Texas Chainsaw Massacre Blood Brothers in the Waterworld queue. This was based around the second Texas Chainsaw Massacre film, which is another iconic film with Chop Top, Bill Moseley. He is famous for that role. And to see Leatherface return was really cool. But to see all these characters and to see everyone from this film come to life was really cool. Even to see Chop Top. I mean, Chop Top is such an iconic character now, and with the whole burning the fucking the hanger and then scratching his head with it and stuff. I always thought that was so fucking weird, but it fits so good with the character, and Bill Moseley did a great job bringing that character to life. To see this maze, though, and coming to life, it was really cool. To see the gore behind Texas Chainsaw Massacre was really cool, and that was dope. And this was the year they marketed it as the Titans of Terror, which I thought was really good marketing. I actually have the poster hung up over there, but he had Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, and Michael Myers. The Titans of Terror took over the event. That was the biggest marketing point for the event, and I really, really enjoyed seeing all my favorite slashers growing up at one event that year. The Walking Dead was that was the first year. It was the first year-round Halloween attraction that actually replaced the House of Horrors, sadly. But it still was fun to see that. And this was actually the first year they marketed it as they'll actually have a lot more zombies in the thing. And that year they did. They really had a lot more zombies roaming around, more actors inside the maze to kind of bring that more to life, to give you more of that experience. And, Walking Dead at the time was still popping. It really was. I really enjoyed what they had to offer with that. And I I actually kind of miss it, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. Let's hope that whatever goes there next is something that we'll all enjoy. It had a really good run, but we'll talk about that more and more as we talk about the origin story of us. Eli Roth presents Terror Tram. Now, I am a huge Eli Roth fan. As an actor, he's great. I loved him in Inglourious Bastards. I've seen him in a lot of other films. As a director, he has a very twisted mind, which is very awesome. And just to see what he was going to do in collaboration with Halloween Horror Nights for the Terror Tram, they went all out. Crypt TV had just started around this point, and we were big fans of Crypt TV. And he used his platform on Crypt TV to promote the Terror Tram. Now, the Terror Tram had this original character that they made for the theming of the Terror Tram called Hollywood Harry. The story behind Hollywood Harry is he used to work at the park years ago in like the 50s or 60s or something like that. And as time went on, clowns became the stuff of nightmares. The Hollywood started making horror films based around killer clowns and whatnot. And that's what really drove him out of a job. And he kind of went a little crazy and disappeared. And then that year he came back when they actually had footage of him walking around the lot and whatnot, which was really cool. It was supposed to be footage from people from the regular studio tour, just watching him walk around the back lot and whatnot. I thought that was really great marketing because it actually really felt real. I was like, dude, I don't know if I'm going to get killed at this thing or not, but this was really fucking cool. Great marketing. It's one of my favorite marketings they've done on the Terror Tram thus far. And to see that whole thing was really cool. And then to go through it was really cool. You got to see like Hollywood Harry's revenge, and he brought a lot of his carny friends with him. So as you're going throughout the Bates Motel, the Bates house, the plane crash scene from War of the Worlds, you're seeing the chaos that Hollywood Harry has brought back to Universal Studios. He was killing tour guides. He was killing like people that were part of the park. And to see this whole story unfold was really cool. And Eli Roth did a good job. And this would not be the last time we saw Hollywood Harry. We would see him again much later, but we'll talk about that later. The Purge election year took over the entire park. The Purge was on the third film by now. Election year had just dropped, and it was bigger than ever. Those first three Purge films are fantastic. I really enjoyed them all. And to see this kind of take over park-wide, it's like the Purge took over Halloween Horror Nights. You weren't safe anywhere you went. I mean, there was things everywhere. There was people in the front lot. They had I think that was the year they had the gauntlet. If that was, I don't know if it was that year. Yeah, it was that year. They had like a gauntlet, which was kind of a surprise because it was like almost like a little maze in the Parisian Courtyard, which was really cool. And to see that gauntlet was really dope. And then you got to go to like the Metro sets and whatnot to see more of the anarchy of Purge. So that was a lot of fun. Election year was one of my favorites. Very good movie and whatnot. They had the Jabberwockies return that year. And this was the year that I kind of felt the show felt a little repetitive. But it's always a good place to go sit down and cool off and just kind of relax for a little bit. So that was a lot of fun. But 2016 was a big year. I remember leaving that year and telling George after, watching a bunch of TLEV and whatnot that I kind of wanted to do something like that. And it started sparking more interest. And going into 2017, I started planning it more and more. And then August 14th, 2017, we launched the Nights of Horror. But we'll get into that next week. 2016, hands down, my favorite year of the event. Hope you guys enjoyed 2016 if you got to go. I love each and every one of you. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nights of Horror Origins. We're halfway through the show, and we got a lot to come. Hope you guys can join us for the next 5 years of the Nights of Horror within the next 5 weeks. Until then, I'm your host, Anthony, and I'll see you guys next week for Nights of Horror Origins.
This is TLV.
We TLEV.
We're out of here.
We outie. Yeah!